Let's.
Welcome back. Sorry, of course, Jordan starts saying things while I'm trying to push the record button, making me laugh. Welcome back to Cocktails and Colts. I'm your host, Tyler, and this is Jordan.
Hello.
By the way, I talked about you in our group chat today.
Oh, the queen bees.
Maladjusted bees, but yeah,
Oh,
well, we are queen bees, but we're maladjusted, queer
mhm.
bees.
Queer bees.
Queer bees. I talked about how you're not really a nerd, even though you come across like one.
How dare you? How dare you out me?
I told him I'm
Just,
gonna fix it.
just because I haven't watched Star Wars,
Or,
Lord of the Rings,
or,
The Hobbit. Is that the same thing?
this is the same thing.
Okay.
I'm sure there's more.
Well, I never watched Harry Potter, but I'm not going to now.
No,
So,
you don't need to watch that.
yeah. I did watch Star Trek. I
The
watched the
Hunger
Star Trek
Games?
movies. I feel like I saw the first Hunger Games, maybe?
Okay.
Maybe? I don't remember.
Well, we can't watch all of Star Wars while you're out here, but there's just too much.
Wait, you're going to have Lee take that out.
Oh, you're not allowed to come out here?
No, because what if our friends actually listen to this and then our surprise is ruined?
This is coming out after.
Oh shit. Never mind. Gee, I thought it was. Why did I think it was coming out Monday? I don't know.
No, because mine still has to come out.
That's right.
And
It
I
does.
and I have another episode coming out before that one.
Okay.
So Alabama.
Alabama. Alabama Slammer.
Only because I have not bugged Lee about editing the other one because she's not feeling well. So
Yeah.
I'm
Hope Lee feels better soon.
so
Feel better, Lee.
maybe this one will come out before the other.
Surprise.
Oh no. So this will come out after you've already come out here. So
The one friend who listens to our podcast would be like, oh,
surprise. Which one? None of them
I don't
listen.
know.
They
I,
keep
I would
saying,
say
Shannon keeps saying, "Oh, I'm going to."
if it's anybody, it's going to be Gas.
Oh, Gas did say that they're going to listen.
Gas would be the one.
Gas, if you're listening, we adore you
Yes.
and you're very attractive.
Oh. Oh. Well,
So that looks
everything's
very
coming up
alcoholic.
gas. It's LaCroix,
What flavor is it?
grapefruit pamplemousse.
Okay, at least it's grapefruit, but that basically means someone ate a grapefruit and burped over your water.
I'm appreciative of that burp.
I have a kettle sour. I really need to get something from a different
Ooh,
brewery.
mango. No, you don't. You know what? You found something that works. It's right across the street.
It's the only brewery here.
I
I
would
keep
drink, but my tummy doesn't feel great, so I'm abstaining this week.
I was gonna abstain. It's not fair.
Well, I
I'm
did.
still hungover.
You want to talk about
Y'all,
oofta?
y'all. I got so trashed on accident. I spent about $15 that night.
Yeah, you didn't spend a whole lot. Why was he? He was buying you shots because you had a happy face.
Yes, and he kept offering me a bump. I did not accept the bump. And what did I do? What did I do? I went and hid in the bathroom
Eventually,
and called Jordan in the bathroom stall.
and told me many things,
Oh my God. And then the
many things that I will
bartender,
never hold against you.
I don't even remember half of that. And then the
Oh,
bartender kept coming in asking me if I was okay. And then both of the bartender and the waitress messaged me on Facebook to make sure I was okay after I left.
I'm glad. I'm glad that like to see that like people uh, come together and do that. Like that makes me happy.
And that they let me know when the creepy guy left. Okay,
Yeah.
so he I hope he listens to this and knows how creepy he is. So
You think he's going to?
no, definitely not. But his name was like Ted or something. It started with a T, which was
Ooh, Ted.
a little shocking that it wasn't like a J name, but you know.
Use me. Wow.
Not a Jordan though. It would be
Okay.
like a Jason or a
I was just about to say Jason or Justin.
oh, but there's a nice Justin that writes a lot
Jared.
of but one of my favorite people's name is Jared. And he listens to this podcast.
Hi. Oh, sorry, Jared.
We love you, Jared.
Apologies. Apologies. You're a trooper.
Okay, I don't know. Jesse,
Je- Yee. Jesse's girl.
the worst and like he knows this like relationship I've ever been in was with a Jesse. And there's also the Jerry from my other episode.
Jerry. Yeah. Oh,
They were my two worst.
Jack.
No, you have to watch This Is Us. Jack is amazing.
Oh, Jack is okay.
And Jack is who
Joaquin.
we all wish we were Jack.
Do we?
We
What
wish
about
we were because we wish we treated people like Jack treats people.
I hope I treat people nicely. At least I try to.
Well, take notes and watch This Is Us.
I will. You're gonna have to show me when I'm out there. That's my whole plan.
Just all just TV
So we can just cry together
and go to Jordan.
and go to Jordan. I mean, at least the candy store's there, so like there's a good reason to go to Jordan.
Yes. Yes. We have a whole
We're gonna go.
plan.
Let's go. We're gonna go crazy in Jordan. I'm telling you.
Yeah. There's a Tyler right by my house.
Is there really?
It's spelt wrong, but there's
I
a
was gonna say it's probably not spelled
Tyler.
right. How dare they?
So I was thinking about the news from yesterday. This is gonna be way outdated by the time this comes out.
Oh,
But yesterday with Gypsy Rose Blanchard being released yesterday morning. Like
Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
the one that killed her mom.
Oh, everything's from the actual play. What's the name of that play? Gypsy?
I don't know. There's a play.
Yeah.
The one
The only reason
so
why I'm saying that word is because it's the name of a
it's her
person in a play.
name. It's her name, yeah.
Yeah, just so everyone knows. I don't hope that doesn't come across.
I am
No,
very
there's
Romani, so I completely agree, and I'm
yes,
glad you said something about that. But yes, that is her name, her actual name, and we cannot get mad at people because they have a name. So
yeah. I think going forward though, if people name their child
yes.
that, we can be like, okay, maybe don't do that. You know,
And yeah, don't do that. But also, my like one of my best friends' name is Isis, and people get so mad at her that that's her name, and I'm like, that's
yeah.
first of all, it
It's
was
sad because that's a
Isil.
beautiful. Yeah, it's a beautiful name actually. Like the actual origins of ISIS.
Yeah. But yes, so Gypsy Rose was released yesterday at like 3 a.m. Why? I don't know.
3 a.m.
She probably started her release process at like midnight and she got out at 3 a.m. or something. I
You
wonder.
know what I was surprised? Speaking of getting out, I'm a slight tangent, but when I got out of my grippy sock vacation,
I was gonna say jail.
jail, yeah, when I got out of jail, no, but when I got on my grippy sock vacation, it was surprisingly quick. It was basically, hey, sign this paper.
Going in.
No, leave. Yeah, going in is like I was in the ER for 8 hours.
Yeah.
Leaving was literally a minute and a half, maybe. I'm like,
It's ridiculously fast.
yeah,
Yeah, I agree with you. It's been like that for me too.
I'm glad. Well, hey, all right. At least because I know like getting out of the hospital always takes forever, but I was like, it's like they're like pushing me out the door. I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
all
because they
right.
need to fill that bed.
You know, there are so many empty beds though.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So
At yours there was.
yeah.
Mine, so the first time I had my vacation, it was like full. I was the last bed. And and I was there for 2 weeks, but they were okay with me being there for a long time.
Because you're cool.
I was cool. I was helping with groups. We were friends. I made friends there. I'm still friends with several people that I met there.
Nice.
I need to check on one of them. I texted her, but I wonder if it's not her number anymore.
Oop, awkward. Text an old number.
She lives here in town, so I just had to find her.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not so bad.
And then another one, we're friends on Facebook. She lives far away because there's not a lot of hospitals around here. So sometimes this is the closest hospital for people within
Wow.
hours.
Okay.
So, well, the only hospital with a behavioral health unit.
Gotcha.
It always sounds weird. I get that behavioral health sounds better than like psych ward.
Right. But it sounds like I have bad behavior. Like
Yeah, like
I
I did
have bad
something
manners.
wrong.
Yeah.
No, I did not do. I didn't do anything. I just wanted help. Actually, the first time, my meds, my doctor kept not refilling my meds on time, and
That's
I
the most
was
annoying thing.
and I was on one that you have withdrawal symptoms before you even have to take it again.
Oh God, no, that's
Yeah, is a 21 hour half-life or something like that, or
really
life.
okay. Really interesting.
So you're already having withdrawal symptoms before taking it, which is why people usually take it first thing in the morning. But it would make me really tired if I took it first thing in the morning. So I'd wait until bedtime and take it. So the last few hours before I went to sleep, it was horrible. And so when they wouldn't give it to me on time, it was like these horrible withdrawal symptoms. Like I feel bad for people who have had to withdraw from drugs because like I know that was not nearly as bad. But
Yeah, no, it sucks.
yeah. The one I'm on
Withdrawal sucks.
now, the only withdrawal symptom I get, which we're on the same meds, med twins.
Mid twins. I
Woo.
was high fiving the camera. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
Um, is I get brain zaps if I don't take it like 12 hours late. Like if I'm a while
Ooh,
late taking it, and that reminds me I need to take getting
brain
brain
zaps.
zaps. Yeah.
Goodness.
Now everyone knows everything about our mental health.
My ADHD medication, Christmas kind of messed up the getting it phase because I have to fit like I have to physically, that doesn't sound right, but I have to like email or call the doctor's office and have them call in the refill. This doesn't auto refill.
Okay.
And so Christmas kind of messed it up. So I was without it for a few days, which oh that was fun. Um,
That's why it
which I
took
think
you
was
so long to be ready for an episode.
well, yeah, because I took it yesterday and I slept from like 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. I've been up since yesterday, basically, because I took my medication and now my body's just like, yeah, let's go.
I want to get on medication, but they're out. Like my doctor's okay with prescribing me
Mm-hmm.
meds, but because of the shortage of them, they're not sure I'll be able to get them.
Sucks. That so
And
sucks.
I don't feel like I can concentrate on anything, and it's really frustrating.
Yeah, no, it is. I don't I don't know. I don't know if I want to be on this medication long term, but here we are.
Man,
So here we are.
hell yeah, kid.
Hey, good news.
Yes.
House Bill 68 in Ohio. Not a good thing. But they signed it. You know, the Republicans passed it in the Ohio State House.
Which one is that?
That's the transgender
Okay.
ban.
Yeah.
The big one. But Governor Mike DeWine vetoed it
Well,
today.
good.
Yeah, but shockingly, he's a Republican.
You guys have
So,
been having issues with your abortion stuff too, even with it being
oh yeah, they're
legal.
they're trying to yeah they're trying to do whatever they can
Because didn't
yeah
they?
they're moving the goalposts.
Yeah, because there was the woman there who had a miscarriage, not even an abortion, and they're saying like the disposal of a corpse because it went into the toilet. Like she's being arrested or has been arrested for
I
illegal
haven't heard that,
disposal
but
of a
that's
corpse.
that's ridiculous.
I'll send it to you.
Okay.
someone I follow on TikTok had posted it, so I always look things up after I see a video to make sure it's real.
Oh no, I agree with you 100%. I do
Um,
that.
guess what color her skin is?
Blue?
Oh, sure. No.
No, it's I know, I know it's probably black.
She's black. She's a black woman, and I just
Yep.
like, why? Like, that's terrifies people to even like, what do you do? Scoop it out of the toilet? Like, what are you supposed to do?
It's considered medical waste at that point. It's not.
Well, even they made it in Ohio that even with abortions that they have to cremate them or bury that the
How would they even? Well, I guess because she went to the hospital, but then someone at the hospital told.
she told them that she went to the doctor to say I
Oh,
had a miscarriage
I
and made
see.
sure
Okay.
like she wasn't trying to hide it. She wanted the
Maybe they were
baby
right. Maybe they were mandatory reporters. I don't know, but that sucks. That sucks all around.
because the doctor could get in trouble if they don't tell, maybe.
Yeah, if they're
I don't
mandatory
know.
reporters,
But
potentially.
but like what are you supposed to do? Like
It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
especially in that moment when you're sad and like have all these hormones and everything coursing through you
And
and
on top of that, yeah,
like that's traumatic already and like what are you supposed to do? Like
right.
there's no right answer to that. It's whatever
No,
the person who it happened to like feels right in doing in that time. I don't
right. Which is a great segue
know.
into today's topic of there not being a right answer
Mm-hmm.
because we're going to talk about like we've covered what, three cults so far,
If they've
four
listened to
cults,
the other one.
right? If, big if.
Mm.
Um,
Depending on what
but yeah,
order I put these out in.
this is going to come out in 20 years actually, so
200 cults.
200 cults later. But I think the one thing that I've glossed over every time is kind of when we talk about the people who get involved in these cults,
Mm-hmm.
and how, like, we always, I think, oh, what was that, the woman from Australia's name?
Oh,
Something,
yeah, Anne, gosh, Victoria, Evelyn, Evelyn,
yeah, Evelyn something Victoria,
Evelyn Grace Victoria, something. Bird,
McGillicuddy, Burn, Burn.
Burn.
Yeah. But I know, I think I was, because I actually listened back to the podcast 'cause I'm always curious, like to see how it, I'm a dork like that. And I kept like I kept catching myself like saying like the amount of disbelief like that you have to kind of suspend.
Yeah.
And like I thought maybe I think I wasn't very fair to the people who join cults. So that's why I wanted to talk about that today. Like there's no, like, we always do the whole armchair thing where we'd be like, well, that would never happen to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and we say that with everything in life, but like I think we grossly misunderstand just how manipulative people can be. These people, these cult leaders, these, what do you want to call them, monsters sometimes.
And it's the same kind of process that you talk about. Like, I don't understand why people just don't get out of an abusive relationship. It doesn't
Right.
start just like like right the second that you meet them, it starts and it's abusive. They come at it with this psychological like way of why it's good for you, and you slowly get into it. It's not a like overnight thing. They started with yoga and then they did yoga with this other stuff and then they like and then you know
Right.
other people that are in it that are smart like that cult in particular, the people were doctors and psychiatrists and
People
there's
you would generally
yeah,
trust,
yes,
generally speaking, like
yes,
these are trustworthy professions, I guess,
mhm.
in our minds.
And a lot of
um
them did feel better and felt like the things that they were experiencing were real and they felt like they were enlightened and they were manipulated into believing things based on the tactics that she had, very calculated, set in place. And
mhm.
when you have several people, not just one person doing it to you, it's even worse than getting into a monogamous, like abusive relationship.
right. And to use the relationship example, I think that's good because like when we're talking about people getting out of abusive relationships, like it's not like you met this person and suddenly they start verbally assaulting you or physically assaulting you or something. Like why would you stay with that person? You wouldn't. You'd immediately get to leave them because there's no history there. There's no, well, I should say there's no shared memories, there's no shared history.
Yep.
Right, it's just a person that's terrible, you can leave them. But when you've been with them for so long and they've had all of this time to gaslight you, because I feel like manipulate, the word manipulate just grossly understates just how like holistic this really is. It's not just like, manipulation, like tricking, like it's
Mm-hmm.
all of these things. It's gaslighting. To the point where you start second guessing yourself
Mm-hmm.
and you no longer know what is right and what is wrong. And so you believe that person.
And they strip away
And
your identity too slowly,
yeah,
and they give you a new name. They make your past seem scary, and they make the other people in your life seem like they're not doing you any favors if they're not supporting you being in this relationship. And it's the same
right.
way in an abusive, like, romantic relationship.
Yeah. I mean, and I've seen in a few cults too, where the leader will instigate and instigate and instigate to like to try to get a confession out of someone for having
Mhm.
supposedly committed a crime. I don't know, let's say they, not a crime, but like let's say they broke a plate, right? And they're convinced you did it. You didn't, but they're going to sit there and push you and push you and push you and push you until you're confessing
Yep.
for a crime just to get it to stop.
Yep.
Which, if that sounds like our police departments across America, you are not
I was
wrong.
about to say Jerry used to do that to me, if you remember that episode.
Yeah. Ugh, not
Like,
a fan of
to the
those.
point where I was convinced I did things I didn't do.
Right.
And it's like, how did I get into that position where I was believing things that I knew weren't true, but I convinced myself in order to be convincing to them that I was telling them the truth and telling them what they wanted to hear.
Right. So it's easy for us to, like, especially when we're watching on TV and just, look at the TV and go, the fuck is this? How could you possibly believe that you're a 60-year-old woman is pregnant? But like, honest to goodness, I
With
know
triplets, with triplets.
with triplets, but like, honest to God, like when you're in it, so deep in it like that, how could you not believe that?
Yeah. And
You,
then
you, you know?
at what point, and this is the same, like relationships and cult, at what point can you say, like, once you walk away from it, you have to admit to all the stuff that you believed and went through and did and come to terms with that not being accurate when that's been your whole life? That
Yes,
you created that to, or they created it to be your entire existence for that period of time. And the more time you put into it, the harder it is to leave, because you have to come to grips with the fact that for that amount of time, that was your life. And then you also have to come to terms with all the people you kicked out of your life,
yeah,
all the people that you're like, everyone in your life is part of this thing now. Like this, you're losing everyone if you walk away. And
mm,
that's carefully constructed.
yep,
That's the same with abusive relationship. They take away all the people that don't support that relationship and who would the only people there are going to be the people who are going to support that person when you leave. And so you
exactly.
don't have anybody anymore.
And you know how they say your every cell in your body is replaced every 7 years. I mean, if you think about some, like how long some of these people have been in these cults, I know this is a weird say. Where is he going with this? But like, you're not even the same person. How do you go back to being who you once were?
Yeah.
You can't. You can't go back to that. Like once you cross this bridge, you can't uncross it. You have to kind of, and I think for some people, it's easier to just stay
Mm-hmm.
in it than it is to try to break free,
And rebuild yourself
because
again.
you have to rebuild. There's no, this is just gonna go back to my old lifestyle. No, you're everything is relationships, whatever is all gone. You're basically an adult who is feral. I mean, you're not
Hmm.
feral because obviously you grew up and you learned, but like you have nothing,
Yeah.
and that's a terrifying. And I'm sure there's some people that probably have family would take them back and whatnot, but like
But there's
that's
some
a
that
daunting.
won't because they've taken so much from them
Yeah,
getting into the cult, and the way that they cut ties often is very manipulative. Or in Teal Swans, which I don't know if that's coming out before or after this one, but they created the memories of those people actually causing you harm. And so, how do you go back when those memories feel so real? To these people who do actually love you, but in your head, they've assaulted you and done all these horrible things to you and sacrificed you and all these things. And how do you recreate a relationship with people who've become an enemy to you and somebody who is your assailant when they never did anything? So there's so
right,
much guilt, but also so much like they've had to go through in their mind to recreate pathways in their brain to like circumvent the made up trauma to it's just
right.
you're never the same, and like physiologically you're never the same.
Yeah, because you'll never forget that. Like I don't forget my time at my cult school. You don't forget your
Mhm.
time there. That's
Mhm.
with us forever. Like
Yeah.
all of those traumas that I got from that school, I still have those traumas. They still manifest themselves in weird ways, even though it's been 20 years. And I'm sure there's someone out there that could be pointed to as an example of someone who defeated their traumas and blah, blah, blah. But I'm willing to bet that they're probably just faking.
That or they process differently and they still have the traumas, but they
Yes.
if you're able to compartmentalize really easily, it'd
Yeah.
be easier for you to put that box away and not deal with it. It's not healthy. It's still there
No.
and you still revisit that box, but it would be easier for you to live and go on with life and act like everything's fine than other people who have brains like spaghetti, that everything's
Yeah.
connected.
Mm-hmm. And the mind too, like the mind is easily manipulated, to use that word again, right?
Mhm.
I mean, the memories especially, I should say, that's what I was trying to say, is memories are easy to manipulate. Your mind can remember things that didn't actually happen the way they did.
Mhm.
Uh-huh. You hear that a lot with people in their fishing tales, right? But I mean, yeah, so I mean, it's not that hard to convince somebody that they potentially did this and they just don't remember doing it.
Mhm.
And
Especially when you give them drugs that makes them do that.
yeah,
So,
if you're medicating these people too, then
and they're doing that. So they're doing things they don't remember and you're filming them and stuff. That's what a lot of these cult leaders do. And they're like, yeah, you were doing this in before too, and you did these things. And you're kind of creating these scenarios that now you can just tell them they did things and they're going to believe you.
mhm. Yeah,
There's
once
a
you do that, like
yeah, there's a lot of
it's
drugs and
easy to
cults.
see. Yeah, it's easy to see how easy, for lack of a better word, it is to get sucked up into these things.
Hmm.
I think that's why we see MLMs being as popular as they are,
Yeah,
because
definitely.
I mean, and though not necessarily the same vein as cults like uh Aqua Teen Hunger Force. What was her name? No,
Teal Swan?
Teal Teal Swan. There it is. I forgot her name.
Teal Blue.
Teal Blue Aqua Teen Aquanet.
Hunger Force.
That's a cartoon that used to be on Adult Swim.
I used to sneak watching that at my grandma's house.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Because,
I used to watch it religiously. I tried
because,
watching it
yeah.
recently, and I'm like, what is this?
My grandparents, so this was the weird thing about the cult that I grew up in.
Mhm.
My grandparents were not part of it, but they supported their daughters being in it.
Oh, that's so strange.
So my
That's weird when someone supports. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no 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 no. It's common in, I mean, usually they'll get in it too, but in
Hmm.
the Christian communities, especially with the older generation who don't understand what their kids are getting into and that they're not super strict on denomination, And so they just see it as another denomination, and they don't realize that these fundamentalist denominations are not just a Christian denomination, they're a cult. And they're using Christian principles and the word and the Bible and everything, and then supplementing it with
Yes,
their
with
own
their own. Yeah.
stuff. So that's one thing, that if they're supplementing
Joseph Smith.
yeah, we're gonna get to that one later. um if they're supplementing a already written text that's thousands of years old and changing it or adding to it because they said that they were enlightened and adding something to it, you need to look into
Right.
what it is you're involved in.
Uh-huh.
um there are some things that start out as just supposed to be a tool that turn into cult material. So, like certain books or um, methods of teaching that originally I don't think there were nefarious intentions. And
Mm-hmm.
then there became a cult following behind that, and they ran with it. If we look at these mega churches, and
Joel Osteen.
I was gonna say North Coast Church in California, but yeah, Joel Osteen's worse. Um, they they do something, it works, it brings people. When in the Bible it says that you're supposed to create more people to go out and spread the word, not just stay right there and get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Right.
It's never good. The church I grew up in that wasn't IBLP, so we had a secondary church that we were a part of that is called North Coast Church, and it's in California. And I made a video about about a little bit about it yesterday on TikTok, but
Ooh, I haven't seen it yet. Okay.
um it was just what I wrote, not the actual video. But I know at least 5 people personally, but I know other stories that have come out of how they've hidden a lot of things to try to uh, control more like your life, and
Mm-hmm.
to sweep things under the rug and have them just not exist. But this church started out in one little room, a room in a living room, like a living room with the 10-15 people. Now there's over 10,000 people at that church, and it's never supposed to be like that. Like, and not only is there 10,000 people at that church, they also send out their messages all over the world, and there's other people watching them at this, like, at the same time, and like having
Oh, simulcast.
just like Joel Osteen. It's just like that. And they have them translated and sent them to other countries. And um one of the pastors I get along with, I'm not like, he's the younger one of the two. He's not rich. And I think his heart really is in the right place. The other pastor there is wealthy as hell, and has a huge cult following, and people have like gotten on the team this pastor or team that pastor,
Oh, yeah.
and kind of pinned them up against each other of who's better at teaching, because one of them is more fundamental and one of them is more liberal. And so
It's gonna be a
it's
split.
yeah, there's going to be a split, and they're getting so many people because of that split of like, well, these people are here for that pastor and these people are here for that pastor.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird. It's so weird. And then they get people by the music, which is very common.
Oh, yeah.
So what they do, because you can't hold 10,000 people in one room without it feeling like a mega church. So what they do is they have a lot of different venues, they call them, and they have different music in all of these venues.
Oh,
The
wow.
same message. So the pastor's in one room giving the speech. The people are in a bunch of different rooms and watching it on screens, or are in that room that he's in. And so they have like um old gospel music in one, rock music, traditional. They have all different types of worship music, and in all the different rooms, and you choose which room you want to go into based on the music
Yikes.
and the vibe.
Churches, churches scare me. Just bar none. I know that's a silly thing to say as an adult, but they truly scare me.
It does, because it's more about that church than it is about like your
Yeah.
relationship with God or whatever you want to call it. And I have nothing against people who are Christian. I understand the fundamentals of like why you would want to be involved in that. But the fear is when you get into a group and then you're part of this group that,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not about your relationship with God, it's about you being part of this group.
It no longer is about your relationship with. Yeah, but I didn't mean to repeat exactly what you
No,
said,
no,
but you're
no,
right. You
yeah.
hit the nail on the head. It's no longer why you came there. You're going there because it's the thing to do.
Hmm.
It's the place to be. It's the group to be in. It's
Which
the
is
status.
which is part of why I think people, if you are a Christian, you should change churches every once in a while or have a rotation of churches you go to prevent
Mm-hmm.
that from happening.
That's an interesting concept. I wonder how that would work in practice, but I'm curious.
I know some people who do that, and they're some of the coolest Christians I know.
Coolest Christians I know.
They even go to like, so when I lived in Portland, I went to Sweat Lodge, and it was a Christian sweat lodge with the Chinook tribe. And um, and it was amazing. Everybody, there was no leader. So there was no, the leader is the one talking at the time. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like there's one person leading it. It's whatever you're feeling led to say or talk about, and then everyone will join in on that conversation. There's a lot of music and just singing and dancing and food, and you never leave there hungry.
Do you know how hard the compulsion would be for me to not start singing Mary Did You Know? Just because of
Oh,
the absurdity of it. I love I can't always get away from absurdity, and I feel like that would be something I would do in a sweat lodge and promptly get kicked out.
so it was more of vocal like noises than it was
Oh,
a
okay. So it's not
song.
like
It's like,
oh,
and everyone, you can grab your own instrument, and like if you want to play an instrument instead of singing or do both or whatever, or dance, it's whatever your body feels led to do. If you sang Mary Did You Know, it'd probably be drowned out by all the other noise.
I was gonna say it might just be drowned out by all the other noise. I have to pick something better.
They'd be like, that's an interesting thing your body's doing there.
Maybe I'll bust out Bon Jovi's "Living on a Prayer."
Oh,
No, I
that's
wouldn't do.
fun.
Not to be disrespectful. I'm just being a silly Zoe, but
Silly goose.
silly goose. But yeah, I just wanted to really explore that, just how easy it could be and how fortunate we are if we're not in one right now currently. Count yourself lucky. Don't consider yourself smarter than others, because it's not necessarily an issue of wits,
No,
or because these are smart people, as we discussed, like you said, doctors and lawyers and other people who have definitely, not that going to school makes you automatically smart, but you generally speaking, if you're going for these intricate programs, you got to have something in your head,
well, and there's
you know.
other like organizations that people create. They're not fundamentally supposed to be a cult, but when you get involved in them and your whole life becomes revolved around them and your identity is within them, that's when you
Mm-hmm.
need to be careful. Because I know people who are Freemasons who, some of them are lightly Freemasons and some of them it's their entire identity. And
Yeah.
so the cult aspect of it may not even be the actual organization, but how the people within it are reacting to it and what they create it to be their identity. Um, what are some other ones? Like I know people who get the same way with like Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, or like to become an Eagle Scout. And this is all I'm gonna do. This is my whole life. And this is like
Right. Police officers.
yeah, yeah.
Once you're in that fraternity,
Well, frats
it,
too.
yeah, well, yeah.
And they manipulate you into going through so much trauma that you have to continue because that trauma was for nothing if you don't continue.
And then you're a social pariah if you
Hmm.
don't continue. I mean, of
Yeah.
course, hazing has been cracked down on a lot by most schools, but still, I mean, it still exists, it still happens.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think we should just all really consider ourselves lucky if we've never, or fortunate might be a better word,
Yeah.
if we've never been sucked into something like this. And if you have been, genuinely we would love to talk to you. But
Yeah.
if you have been, we're not putting you down.
I know a
We're
lot
not
of
against you here.
people who got out of rehab for like alcohol addiction, or they join AA
Mm-hmm.
and get into things that they don't real like seem healthy. They seem like a healthy thing to get into, a workout group. um MLMs are a big one. Yoga groups.
Church.
Twin Flames is one. That's a yoga or a breathing group. So they do like these breathing exercises
Okay.
that I'll talk about them another time. But um but it would be like it would start out as like a half hour of your week, and then they add
Mm-hmm.
another hour, and then there's other ones you can join, and then there's other exercises you can do, and then there's retreats you can go to, and like you slowly get more and more involved and invested, both time and money as well as relationships, and then you get other people into it, and the only people you're hanging out with are the people in that group,
Yeah.
and you feel more enlightened than other people because you're doing all this like breath work or yoga or
You're
Pilates or
doing all
whatever
these
it
things
is.
to better yourself, right? That's what we tell ourselves.
Yeah. So be very careful. Diversify
Yeah, you got it.
yourself on the activities that you do. Don't just rely on one thing that you like to do. Even if it is that the thing you like to do the most, test yourself and put yourself into some other activities so that you know that
Yeah.
like I'm not just addicted to this one thing and the feeling I get from it, and I have other relationships outside of this thing.
Yeah. Good call. Absolutely. And just always look out. But it can happen. It can happen to anybody.
Hmm.
And we just have to be more compassionate to those who have survived
Yeah.
cults
And
or
that's why
even.
I wanted to do this, was because I was very fascinated in how people get into them.
Mhm.
Because so many people do. It's not a small section of people. It's millions of people.
Right. I mean, if you told someone on the street, "Hey, you want to join a cult? We're going to do these things. I'm going to gaslight you. It's going to be great." No one would sign up
Scientology.
for that. Right. Well, they might for that, but no one's going to sign up for that. It's not. That's not how this works. It's so much more than that.
Yeah.
And I think people have to realize, like, getting sucked into these cults and whatnot is a lot easier than you think.
And the gurus are the ones doing it now. It's like they start out with little
Oh yeah.
tiny blips of information that sound really good and really enlightened, and you start listening to more and more and more and more of them. Then you buy their book, and then you want to go to
Mm-hmm.
their seminar, and then you want to go to their retreat, and then you want to join their inside club, and it's like this whole little rabbit trail into the cult.
Yes.
And
I
some
feel like TED
people,
Talks.
yeah, they
TED Talks are
start
going that way for some reason.
they start with TED Talks.
It starts with the TED Talk.
Oh gosh, some of gurus have been on TED Talks.
Oh, I don't doubt that one bit. Yeah.
Um, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I know some of them definitely have that have talked about their agendas and things. And it's usually people who already have a big following that are on there and went through
Yep.
some stuff. And we love a good trauma.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think TED Talks, in and of themselves, they kind of facilitate that. In
Hmm.
a way, they almost make these cults more accessible, which is
That's
bizarre when
true.
you think about it.
Yeah, because it's
Um,
like, here's my story, here's my trauma, here's how I got out of it, and here's how you can do it like me.
exactly.
And that's kind of the way that those go. And then it's like, okay, now you can follow me here after we leave here.
Mm-hmm.
So, because usually a TED Talk is like a one-time thing for that person, or maybe every couple years or something. And then it's like, okay, if you want to follow me, you can go here.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I like people like um, Greta Thunberg, the environmentalist. Like,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
there's no
No
like cult group
agenda.
or no. It's
If there is, it's not her involved in it.
exactly, and
Because
that's what I like. I like that.
because I do want to do an episode on fandoms, but
Ooh, yeah,
because
that's a good one.
really the people they're about have nothing to do with it. You're following somebody who doesn't really exist,
Yes.
which is how most cults are. That person who they're saying they are doesn't really exist.
Yeah, they don't exist in the form they say they do.
Yeah.
They're just a person, just like
Or
you and I.
in one that I'm researching now, they may not even be alive.
Ooh, a dead cult.
You don't know she's dead though.
Oh, that's how you keep them guessing.
Yeah.
Is she alive? Is she dead? It's Schrodinger's cult.
Which does remind me, so I love Mr. Ballin. Do you know who he is?
Mm-mm.
I believe he was a Navy SEAL, who I think medically retired. I'm not sure. He got out of the military. He's not in the military anymore. Saw some crap, but he loves like weird stories and he tells them so well.
Ooh,
I love how he tells stories. I sent you, so the video I sent you today about Cipro was him. Did I send that to you?
I don't think
Maybe I did. Oh,
so.
you hadn't read my other messages, so I didn't send it to you. I have it saved to send to you.
Because I was in therapy.
How dare you?
How dare I go to therapy?
So I back in 2006 took Cipro for a bladder infection
Okay.
and I got super sick. I've been allergic to the sun ever since. I've
Oh,
um,
right.
my joints have been way worse ever since. Like I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, but Cipro, if you have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, you should not take any of the floxins.
Yeah, good to know.
So, but it could happen to anyone, not just people with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So there's a condition, they call it floxed, like you've been floxed, where
Hmm.
your joints start being attacked by your body because of the way that it reacted to the medication. It thinks your joints are
Oh
some
my God. Are ah.
yeah, so you can actually rupture your joints. And people's like whole hands, like when they've gone to like open a car door, all their joints just like come apart.
Oh my gosh. How do we keep this from happening to you?
So what happened is a year ago, I got put on a different medication that was in that same family, and I didn't know that. I knew I was allergic to Cipro because of what
Hmm.
happened to me when I took it in 2006. So I took that medication, and then that's when all of my health stuff got worse, was after that. And I thought it was the infection and that the infection wasn't going away. It was that medication. And then they put me on it again about a month ago, a month and a half ago. And my joint pain got so much worse after that. And so like my back, so all of my slip discs, so I have, was it 3 or 4 slip discs in my neck, and then I have 4 in my lower back, and we don't
Oh
know the middle.
wow.
I haven't done the middle part scans yet. So we don't know what's in the middle.
Jeez.
But so the bottom one is slipped in towards my body, the bottom disc, and
Mm-hmm.
3 above it are slipped out. And then the 3 up here are slipping out. And then we still need to do the rest of my back. But
Jeez.
it wasn't like that a year and a half ago when I had scans. So this
So it's this
happened.
medication.
Yeah. So there, so
Wow.
I talked to the doctor yesterday after I watched that video that I'm going to send you.
Hmm.
It's gonna, it's really horrible. I will post a link to that video if you guys want it. It but yeah, so this is called being floxed. And basically my body is attacking my joints, and people with EDS are more likely to have it happen. And it's almost
Right.
guaranteed to make your EDS worse if you take any of these medications. And so people, it's really important to have a doctor that understands EDS, because how are we supposed to know this?
Right.
I didn't know this until I didn't know, like, correlate this together until I saw that video from Mr. Ballin. But yeah, he tells stories amazingly. If you all want to hear some dark, like shorter stories, they're usually like, he'll put like 3 of the stories together in an episode and it'll be like 25 or
Hmm.
30 minutes long.
On TikTok?
No, he does have a TikTok and those are like 3 minutes long.
Right. But he has a YouTube, I'm assuming.
Yeah, so he has YouTube, and then
Okay.
he's also on like Spotify and Audible.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, he has the shorts, and then he has the longer stories too. And he tells them really well. Like you don't understand what's going on until the end.
Ooh, that's always,
um,
I like that.
and then another one I really like that tells stories in a similar way but really long
Hmm.
is Miss Mango Butt Stephanie. So
Miss Mango Butt.
yeah, that's her like screen name, but her name's
Love it.
Stephanie. And she tells stories really, really well. So sometimes I get research from them, but I don't tell stories the same way that they do, but I'll get the information from them. And then,
Yeah, I
eh,
wish I was a storyteller.
oh, the way they do it, it's
Hmm.
so Miss Mango Butt, uh, so her dog's name was Mango.
Oh,
So the channel's called Rotten Mango. Um, but she'll read a book or watch a movie and retell the story of the book or the movie. And it's almost more entertaining to listen to her talk to you about the
interesting.
movie than it is.
Okay.
Like she just did the one that the Obamas, um, something about the end of the world, is a
Oh, I
movie.
don't know.
But she just did that one and it was very fascinating. Now I want to watch it.
All
I know.
right.
Listening to people tell you about movies, it doesn't sound entertaining, but it is.
It's got that person in it and they wear that outfit. Oh my.
She makes new names for them though. I wonder if that's because of copyright things or
If you're just
why.
telling a story, I don't imagine the copyright would affect it, but who knows? Maybe.
But a
I'm
lot
definitely
of
not a copyright
hers,
lawyer.
although a lot of the stories she tells are in other languages, so it's probably easier to change the names.
Hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
She does a lot of Korean stories.
Oh, okay.
Uh, but yeah, sorry, those are two storytellers y'all should listen to.
That are not cult leaders.
They're not, but you can create a cult around them. You want to make a mango cult?
Or a fan club. Let's call it a fan club.
Mango balls.
Mango balls.
Just
Oh my
combine the
god.
two.
Oh, mango. Love it.
Who are your podcasters you listen to?
Oh, maintenance phase. I had to think because I haven't listened in a while because I haven't been at school, so I haven't been on my usual route where I listen to them. So, but yeah, maintenance phase. And you're wrong about. I love those two. Those are my podcasts.
Podcasts.
I
We should
see
have
Casper the
those.
Ghost
The
in here.
ghosts are coming around the room.
Apparently so.
I finished my burritos though.
Congratulations. Is it
Uh,
from Taco Bell?
no, no, they're from the freezer.
Oh, from the freezer. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I like the chimichangas. Oh,
I thought of you today and I almost got, oh, that's cute.
Becca painted it.
I love it. I love the fly.
You too.
The fly
Oh
who is
no.
in, oh no, the fly who is in imminent danger.
She's so much better now, but I love that painting. She did that like 2 years ago, but I love that painting.
Oh, that's a great painting.
she
Like,
just
genuinely.
she did one for my brother. It's Space Ants,
Space ants.
the Space Ant Hill.
Space ant hill. Zero gravity ants. That's a terrifying thought.
They have gravity, so
Oh, okay.
it's a
Well,
big enough planet.
as long as they have gravity. Good grief.
Or they're made out of like dark matter and they're just really heavy.
Dark matter ants.
Like Futurama's Nibbler's poop.
Oh, yeah, Nibbler's poop.
At least you
Is
know what
dark matter.
Futurama is.
Yeah, I watched all of Futurama. Okay, thank you.
Well, now you're finally watching Adventure Time, so
Yeah, and I'm on season 8, so
good. Good. It's gonna get weird from there. Have you seen
can't wait.
the train episode?
Yeah, that was like season 6, I think.
Okay. I like that one.
Yeah, that was a good one. It
I
was a really good one.
It just reminds me of like a game, like a video game that you play over and over again to like
Hmm.
get more and more like
The start of season 7, where it was Marceline and Bonnabelle and Jake and Finn. Um, Marceline, or Princess Bubblegum transforms Marceline back into a human, not a
yeah,
vampire, and
yeah.
like that whole arc, I loved it, especially since they changed the theme song for those episodes, which was really cool too.
Yeah, are those the ones where they sing that certain people might be in it?
Marceline is singing it
Okay. There's some
with
in
the
I
with the
think
bass,
further.
with the bass, with the bass,
Hey, I have my Marceline base right over
the
there.
bass, a fish. I'm tired.
They should make a bass base.
A bass bass. Why
See,
hasn't it been? Okay,
it probably is a thing.
it
Um,
sure it is.
I was just watching the episode of House where uh Wilson steals his guitar and puts it up for like ransom. You probably haven't watched House.
I want no. You can't say that. I have seen bits and bobs of House throughout the decades when it was on TV,
Some Bobs.
because I know who Wilson is.
Okay.
Who apparently, when he was on that show, he was younger than I am.
He doesn't look like it.
No, he looks like he's old, but like he is not. Apparently, he's only in his 40s now, or something, maybe, or 50, early 50s, and like, dude looked like he was 50 back then.
And no, and they mentioned that in the show because he's like 26 or something. Like they're mentioning his
Oh,
birthday or something, maybe third. I don't remember, but they mentioned. I was like, "There's no way you're that young." Or
yeah,
House.
but
So Hugh Laurie, I adore him as an actor. And when
mm-hmm.
he went in for the audition for that, he didn't tell them he was British.
Really, well, yeah, he does such a good American
Yeah.
accent.
So, but it's funny because in some of the episodes he puts on like a fake British accent.
Oh yes, yeah,
Uh,
I love it when British actors do that.
but it's
British
fun.
actors playing Americans putting on a British accent.
It's funny because when I first watched House when it was just on TV and I was like that guy that's Jasper from 101 Dalmatians.
Okay,
And I thought he had a fake accent in 101 Dalmatians being British because his American accent is so good.
fair enough. Fair enough.
But yes, he plays
I never thought that.
Jasper.
I like
Oh,
his friend
I'm
Stephen
on
Fry's. You
my
are on number two. I'm watching you over there.
Blueberry.
I saw you crack it open
I have a New Year's party tomorrow, my
tomorrow.
early New Year's party.
Yeah, it's gonna be
And
fun. I'm
it's
envious.
BYOD.
Bring your own drink.
Yeah.
BYOB. Bring your own burrito.
And I'm supposed to bring money for pizza.
Ooh, pizza's always good.
Pizza is good, but I think that I'm allergic to something in the bread.
Oh no, like just bread in general.
Bread, but not flour.
Okay,
So I only have a reaction when I eat fluffy bread.
baking
So I
powder,
don't
baking
know.
soda.
I don't think so because I use baking soda all the time.
Huh?
So I don't know. But
Yeast.
yeast is my thought. Yeast is my thought.
That's such a weird word to say. Yeast.
But I can drink beer. Beer is yeast, but
Beer is yeast.
maybe it's the maybe brewer's yeast is okay, but whatever the bread yeast is isn't. Maybe I could
Could
eat
be.
beer bread.
I was just about to say there's a solution here. Beer bread, and beer bread's delicious.
Oh, I used to make beer bread all the time. It was
Oh,
so good.
we got to make beer bread when I'm out there. Let's make
Perfect.
beer
I,
bread.
I don't have a bread maker, but
We just put it in the oven.
okay. But you need to like do things to it.
What? No, not really. It's really simple to make.
Okay, we'll make beer bread.
We'll
We'll,
make beer bread. We'll
we'll
do
go
it.
get a growler beer.
Yes.
with my little growler.
Or we can get like a selection of beers and make individual beer breads with them.
Ooh, and then we could bring them into the brewery and be like, "Hey,
Hey,
guess which beer each of these is."
yeah. But I wonder if we could really like how much of a difference we could actually taste. Like I'm curious, like if we use like a blueberry sour, for example,
Oh
like
yeah,
how much of that would come through
I think it would. And like
in
a
the end
stout.
result. Yeah.
Right now, these are $1 each,
Whoa.
but there's a max.
I'm
You can buy at a time. So I've just been going and just buying because
sure they
okay,
love you there.
here's why. And I know I'm boring everyone with all of my information. So in Minnesota, we legally have to have a liquor store in every county, I want to say.
Okay.
And if there isn't one, the county will run it. And our liquor store is county owned. And so, because there's a liquor store in our town, the brewery can only sell X amount of cans or bottles per person to not be in competition with our one liquor store.
That's ridiculous. What? What's the limit?
I
6?
think it was 10 bottles. So, you can't buy
Oh,
2 6-packs. So, really, you can only buy 1 6-pack.
what? Just make it 12. Like, come on. That's right there.
So, they let me buy 12.
Hell yeah. I love it.
I'm like, just charge me
Breaking the
for 10.
law.
How about that?
Breaking the law.
Oh my
Dun,
God.
dun.
That's what I'm so scared of. So legally we can have a dispensary right now, but
Mm-hmm.
the county said they're not going to allow a license until 2025 in our
Yeah,
county.
same with Ohio. We're doing that now. And they're like, nope, we're not gonna give them the licenses.
So legally you can have one, but you can't because you can't get a license.
Right.
But there's going to be one license for the entire county, and I know for a fact our freaking county is going to own it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why? You're going to get all the taxes anyway.
You get more taxes if you just let people open them now.
Yeah.
You'd get more money.
I wish the tiny town in the county over from us would
Gaylord.
open one right. No, it's too far away.
Oh.
But would open one right there, like on the border, because it's so close to us. But they would make so much money for that tiny little town.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you could just take all the money from our county.
Yeah, why not? Give it away. Well, someone's begging to go outside here.
All
Out
right.
and scratching me.
So thank you for joining us on another Cocktails and Cults. Soon maybe cannabis cocktails and cults.
Cannabis cocktails and cults.
um, we appreciate all of you. If you could give this a like, a share, a follow, and a comment, that would be lovely if you're on video. I know you can't always comment on the audio stuff. But if you could give us a 5-star rating, it helps us get visibility and share us. And we love you.
So long, and thanks for all the fish.
Crows out.